Peace and blessings and namaste to all light warriors, workers, and everything in between. It is I, Sophie, today, and I have an encouraging transmission for you guys, okay? And the title of this transmission is The Shift Starts with the Mental First. Okay. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because we all know the new earth is already here. You know, some of us are already on it, working on it, building it. Okay. And some of our brothers and sisters are still slowly transitioning over it. And so I just decided, you know, with the download that I got this morning to help you out a little bit in the art of transmutation. Okay. And how to go about approaching your life in great love and great gratitude, you know, and transmuting some of these negative ways of thinking to something very, very positive, okay? Because it is your positive thinking that will transition you to higher levels of consciousness. It is. And this is something that our ancestors knew. And this is something that we're continually trying to practice today. But first, the shift has to start with the mind, okay? And once it starts with the mind, the way you perceive your reality now changes. It shifts with it as well. And that's the frequency that you're going to ride on in the new earth, because things are not going to look the same, okay? So I wrote down a few topics that I mainly deal with, you know, and that others mainly deal with when they're connecting to me. And I'm going to teach you how to transmute this and look at it from a different perspective and walk in that area of gratitude and peace and love, right? Okay, the first thing, copycats. All right. So, there seems to be, you know, a lot of what one would consider copycatting or piggybacking, you know, or even mirroring, you know, other divine feminines or other divine masculines on their role. And some of you are very, very upset about this, okay? If somebody's trying to mimic you, if they're trying to mirror you, if they're trying to compete with you, or they're trying to be like you, and they're being like you because obviously there's something about you that they admire, even if they don't like you. Do you understand? What I'm saying to you is stop getting mad at people who are mirroring you, who are copying you, who are trying to be like you. It is the ultimate form of flattery. Okay? It is. And if they are doing this and they are regurgitating the messages that you are sending out, why is that a negative thing? Because ultimately, the messages need to go out anyway, okay? And it's better if more than one person do it. So you have to ask yourself, when you're being copied, when you're being mirrored, when you're being mimicked, what is the true intention behind this, huh? Do you have to have the credibility, right? Is the mission more important than your shine? Because if the mission is more important than your shine, then you would just bless and acknowledge the copycats. And you would say thank you for getting that information out there. You know, maybe some of these copycats or people that are mirroring you have a different level of influence than you. Maybe they can reach a different level of audience than you. All right? So once again, transmute that, oh, this person is trying to be like me. Oh, they're taking everything from me. Oh, they're trying to act like me and be like me. So what? All right? Why is that not making you sit with your head up? Yes? Let them. Let them mirror you. Let them copy you. Let them try to be like you. Okay? And just smile behind it. Because at least you know your energy is contagious. Okay? All right. Okay. Transition the mind of thinking. This is not necessarily a bad thing. It's only a bad thing when you feel like you deserve credit. All right? And let's be honest. The creator deserves the credit. We're just channeling the vessels. We're just channeling the messages. So it might not even be exclusive to you. Do you understand? Other people can get the same downloads as you. Don't worry about those things. Those things are small. They're small. You got bigger fish to fry. You got a world to change. Okay? So start there. All right? Stop getting mad at people who want to be like you. Look at it as a beautiful thing and say thank you and be humble. All right? Okay. Number 2. All right. Working during this time in the new earth. Okay, now, we were told to get out of the matrix, right? To get out of these matrix jobs and things like that, and then transition into the new earth. Okay, now, I want to tell you that there are jobs that you can have on this new earth that is not part of the matrix. They're actually assisting in the creation of the new earth. Do not shun working. Okay, now, if you have that entrepreneurship spirit, trust me, be that. That is the best thing that you can be. But if God places you in a position where you still can help others at the same time as you're helping yourself, don't shun away from that either. Okay, because maybe you are the catalyst in that particular industry that needs the change to come. So here's some of the things that you need to to watch out for. If you have to take a COVID vaccine, if you have to go through COVID testing, okay, or weekly testing, if you have to wear masks and things like that, okay, if all of those areas are cleared for you, it's okay for you to work, all right? The position that I landed, I didn't have to do a background check. I did not have to do a COVID check. I did not have to do a drug test. I did not have to do show any proof of vaccinations. I don't have to wear a mask, okay? I already know I'm on the new earth, and there's a lot of businesses, okay? A lot of businesses that are operating this way now, okay? Now, if you find that you can't find work like this, try nonprofit organizations. Some of you have skills that belong beyond corporate. Do you understand what I'm saying? Some of you have gifts and talents that are more catered to outreach or more catered to developing, creating, molding, shaping, healing. Okay? And if you are one that has those, then try to go into that vein. All right? Just make sure that you don't have to go through all of those guidelines to get there. Okay? And understand that this could be a new earth blessing for you. Okay? Especially for those of you who are entrepreneurs, or those of you who are business owners. You might need a little bit of capital because maybe your vision started off small, but maybe it's bigger now. And you might need a little bit of more financial support to get it done. And eventually, you can walk away from it. But look for things that are beneficial to your soul's journey, your soul's growth, your soul's mission. Okay? Because these jobs are out there for you. You don't have to be afraid of work. All right. You only have to be afraid of work that is linked into a system that is in disagreement with your soul's journey and your soul's purpose. But if you find yourself employment that is aligned with your soul's journey and your soul purpose, go for it. Okay. As long as they're not pushing you to do anything, and build up your money. All right. Now, I'm in this vein of thought right now because I know for a fact that next year I'm going to India. I got to. All right. I'm going to India, and then I'm going to Egypt. And because I already prophesied over my life, and I knew that I was getting ready to enter into that season of traveling abroad, going into some real deep studies, I just want to run my hand across the hieroglyphs, okay? Because certain symbols I can read in my mind's eye, and I want to see what they say, okay? So when I travel, yeah, it's a little bit about fun, but it's more about the history. All right, that's what I'm doing. So if you need to work, and then build. Okay. Also, there's some who have been getting a lot of feedback about cryptocurrencies and things like that, NFTs, and some express some concerns to me too. Like, why would you, what was said? Okay, why would anybody want to invest in cryptocurrency or NFTs and stuff if the whole power grid shut down? Then you don't have anything to back that up. Let me explain something to you. You can't live your life in the now and regret of what might happen in the future, okay? If there are resources that are available to you at this moment, use those resources, okay? And then you can take that money out and invest in something that is tangible. All right? But there's no point in standing still and not doing anything because you're scared of something that may or may not even happen. Do you understand? I told you 100% of your reality is governed by the way you think and your belief. Okay? So if you believe that there's going to be a power grid shut down and all the power is going to go out and this, that, and the third, and you want to live your life in that type of vein of fear or paranoia to the point that you won't move or make anything, go ahead. But there's others of us who are going to utilize the resources that are available to us and take it and then build something else so that if that does happen, guess what? It's already invested in something tangible. All right? So be smart about all of your decisions. Be smart about it. I don't care if it was prophesied that the power grid or the electricity was going to go out next month. If you can trade or get into cryptocurrencies or NFTs or something like that and make you a quick $1,000 this month, do it, take that money out, and then invest in something that you feel is more long-term. Okay? Everybody don't feel like it's going to crash down. But I'm just saying, while resources are available to you, it is wise to do it and stop looking at everything from the negative standpoint. Okay? You wonder why negative things happen? Check the way that you think. Anything that is presented to us can be a blessing or a curse based on the way that you think. When you let that sit in, once you let that really, really sit in, I'm going to say it again because I need you to let this sit in. Anything that is presented to you can either be a blessing or a curse, depending on the way that you think. All right? So, utilize resources that are readily available to you to help you get out of your situation and build on something that you might want in the future. It's that simple, okay? Transformation starts with the mind first. The way that we think, the way that we process information. Yeah, it does. Okay, now, I put it down another one, okay? Okay, divorce, separation, okay? Losses. Your losses are your biggest gains, okay? I'm not going to tell you that it's not going to hurt you to lose somebody that you love, okay? Or have something taken away from you. But what I am going to tell you is everything that is material is temporary anyway, okay? It may have been presented to you to enjoy for a little bit, okay? It may have been given to you to learn a lesson from it, all right? There's no point in being bitter with any exes. There's no point of being upset and wanting to get revenge and get back because a relationship didn't work. If it didn't work, it wasn't meant for it to work. Okay, and in that vein, you just need to reflect and look back at the lesson. Was the lesson about you? Chances are it was. I don't care what that person did to you. You allowed it. All right? So now you're just going to reflect back on your own journey, your own self-esteem, your own confidence, your own self-worth. Okay? Understanding what it is that you deserve. And so the next time that you go into a beautiful union, you're going to go in with a different mindset. And you don't have to carry a whole bunch of baggage with you. That won't be a blessing to you anyway. This journey, this physical realm, is temporary for some of us. So we just ride the waves. Okay? You're going to be hurt, but you'll be all right. Okay? Now, some of the reasons why these separations happen is because, and this is going to be a little bit of a trigger. It's going to be a little bit of a trigger. Some of the places that you are going, some of the blessings that you're getting ready to receive were not meant to be shared with others who are not vibrating on your same frequency. Okay? Some of you have people around you that are so negative that that influence will damper on your own soul's journey. And this is the truth. You ever want to know who, if you are the blessing in that relationship, walk away from it and then pay attention to the life of the person that you walked away from. Sometimes unions and families and people around you are blessed because of your energy, your covering. Yes. Oh, yeah, that was even written in the Bible too. I almost forgot about that. They were talking about in the cases of being unequally yoked. Okay, that if you're unequally yoked, I think it was something like if you are unequally yoked and the unbeliever is still content with living with the believer, then they can stay because the believer sanctifies the whole house. Okay, so consider how big or how wide your energetic field is, and then consider how big and how wide your circle of influence is. Okay, once you do that, you will see that the people that are close, when you are the blessing, the people that are closest to you will also enjoy that blessing right along with you. They will. But on the flip side of that, if you are a person that is cursed, the people around you will partake in that curse right along with you. All right. So sometimes separations have to happen and you have to understand it from that perspective. And maybe it is necessary so that the non-believer or the person that might be in negative energy get to watch you and see this works. Okay. And then maybe it helps them transform. Everything works for the good of those who love God. Trust me, it does. Trust me, it does. You just have to learn how to see it for what it is. Okay? The shift takes place in the mental realm first. It takes place in the mind. All right. Now, I have another point. What was this? Okay. All right. Being called crazy and delusional. Let me explain something to you. Any of you who are very spiritual or are gifted in some way or form and someone else cannot understand, you'll always hear that, okay? These terms, crazy and delusional, are very, very dismissive. And it's a dismissive tactic for an unevolved mind. Okay, small minds can only think small. Big minds think big. We're not the same, right? Now, when you have these gifts, when you have these big mind, when you have these big goals and aspirations, when you feel like you can take that leap of faith and other people go, oh, that's too risky, you need to remind them great rewards come with great risks. Okay? And if I am powered by my faith and the way that I think with great blessings, great love, and great gratitude, who are you to tell me what can't be done? Miracles happen every single day. Okay? So when people call you crazy, when they call you delusional, when all of those things, your job is to say, well, thank you. They're not going to understand you. They're small-minded. They're not going to understand you. They're limited. Okay? They're not going to understand you, and they're not meant to understand you. You will draw unto you those who are meant to understand you. You don't have to keep second guessing yourself. You don't have to try to mold and fit in with others. You weren't designed to do that. As a matter of fact, others need to step their game up to reach the level that you are at. Hello? We don't downgrade because we want to be accepted. We make them upgrade so they can join the party. You got it? Don't worry about those names. Don't worry about being called anything. Go ahead and walk your path. Let your light shine and let them watch. Even that is inspirational. Even that transmute energies. Those who need to see will see. Remember, it was written, okay? Signs and wonders are for the unbelievers, not the believers, right? So sometimes they have to sit back and watch you glow, watch you grow Watch these things work for you until they get it, and then they'll understand, well, what they're doing can work for me too. Okay? Then they'll stop being jealous of you or competing with you or copycatting you, because they'll get it on their own. And when that happens, bless them anyway. Be happy about it. That's one more soul, right? Starts with the mind. You will make the shift. Okay? I have faith in you. All right. We got another one. Okay. Gang stalking. Gang stalking, being harassed, having trolls. Honey. This one right here is my favorite. Let me explain something to you, light warriors and light workers who are getting upset that they're being gang stalked, who is getting upset that they have trolls, okay, who is getting pissed off because the people are coming up against you. Honey, if you're one person and it takes 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 20 people to try to tear you down, you a bad MFer. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't think you get it. I told you before, 1 puts 1,000 to flight. 2 can put 10,000 to flight. All right? So, pardon. It's got a lot of pollen in North Carolina. If you are one person that is giving so much of a threat to people, you have to understand that that right there should show you that you are divine and that you have favor on your life. Okay, I get it. I get it. There's a lot of spiritual people out here. I get it, right? And they're doing spells and black magic and whatever it is that they want. Spiritual people, sometimes, especially a younger souls. And I'm not talking physical age, okay? Because you can be in your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s and still be considered a younger soul. Just like there are some youth right now who are older souls, okay? But younger souls play in magic that they don't understand. And it only causes them to stop when it starts backfiring, okay? I want to say to you, how do you compare a spiritual practitioner to a divine being? There's no comparison, okay? So this is why you're being ganged up on. Because whoever was the original hater of you realized they couldn't take you down by themselves. So they started soliciting, and then more and more and more and more. Honey, this is no different than Legion. Understand that. Remember that parable? Let me take y'all back. In my early 30s, around 34 years old, when I was around 34, it was either 34 or 35. I lost a whole year. I'm going to be honest with y'all. For years and years, I thought I was 1 year older than what I was. And I've been that way for about 6 years. It was my ex that had to tell me, honey, you're only 36. And I kept telling people I was 37. I don't know how I lost this year or could jump ahead. But I've always had an older soul anyway, so it just made sense to me. So during that time, either I was 34 or 35, I had a profound dream vision. Okay. And what it was we were in some type of major city. And when I'm talking about major cities, I'm thinking of the liking of like Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, Boston, something like that, like major city, urban city. And there were people just at each other. Like they were one group was standing on one side of the street, another group was standing on the other side of the street, and they looked like they was getting ready to go to war. And there was so much hate and violence that was going on. And in this dream, I took a horn and I blew it. And when I blew it, thousands of saints came in white. And we all had the same power. Okay? And we started going up and down these streets of these major cities and cleaning energy, removing drujas, removing negativity. And I remember going down this line, and these were males. These were males, and we were cleaning out their energy. And when I got to the last one, and I went to cleanse this male's energy, he laughed. And I said, who are you? And he said, Legion. And I said, nice seeing you again. Now, I never understood why I said, nice seeing you again. It was so awkward of a response to say in a dream. Until I realized after my awakening, I've dealt with this before. I know this collective because there is another collective. Okay? But you have the power to deal with these legions, just like Jesus had the power to deal with these legions. Remember when that man was all possessed, running around in the graveyard, punching people in the face? And Jesus walked through that graveyard. And when that man saw him, he started running up to him and was like, what are you doing here? Are you here to punish us before our time? And he said no, and he had to cast out that legion. He asked him what their name was, and that man said legion because we are many, and he had to cast out those legions of devils into the pigs or the swine, okay? And they all jumped over the cliff. Now, I'm going to tell you something. If I was a farmer, I'd have been pissed about that. You know, sometimes I like to go back and revisit these stories and look at it from different perspectives. So, you know, that farmer was probably like, what are you doing with my pigs? But at that time, the pigs were unclean anyway. What I'm saying is that's no different than what you're dealing with now. So if you're being gang stalked, if you're being cyberbullied, if you're being regular bullied, if you're being harassed, you are dealing with legion. Okay? And I'm here to tell you that you're stronger than it. So even if this is happening to you, you have to know that if you weren't somebody that was considered a threat or powerful, you wouldn't even have been gang stalked. Nobody would be bothering you. Do you understand? We are only threatened by the things that we fear. I'm going to say that again. You're only threatened by the things that you fear. Okay? Even in the case of the woman. All right? Want to know why, you know, there were such great strides of keeping you submissive women? Such great strides and keeping you bound and, you know, underneath, you know, some type of dictatorship in your relationships. You only seek to control something that you fear too. That might go over some of your heads. I'm hoping you'll get it though. It's not going over your head. You're a smart group. You are a very wise and knowledgeable group. Nothing I'm saying is going over your head. You get it. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So when you're being cyberbullied, gang stalked, trolled, and all of that stuff, you're supposed to be laughing at this. You're supposed to be like, whoa, I'm really doing it. You know what I mean? I got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 enemies. And I'm one person. And I haven't done anything to anybody. Okay, so what do we do with legion? We cast them out. We move them. Okay, now there's no pigs that we can transmute them to, but we can send them back to the realm that they came from. Especially, there's no room for them in your timeline. So they'll be going back to their timeline and wreaking havoc on anybody else that's trying to ascend. Maybe they wake up and get it. Maybe they stay there in bitterness and anger. Maybe it's not your concern either way. All right? So, transmute that. Understand that if these things are happening to you, it's because of who you are and what you stand for and what you represent. And in the same token of that, now, after you've identified that, you need to understand that no weapons formed against you will prosper. Let me explain something to you. Jesus was not the only one that could cast out devils. All right? You have ancestors from the Egyptian pantheon that fought demons and can cast out devils. You have ancestors from the Hindu pantheon that can cast out demons and devils. He wasn't the only one. Your ancestors had this power too. Okay? Especially when they were aligned with the divine and operating and working for a source. So many of you have it too. Don't think he was the only one that could do this. It's not the case. But he was the biggest example for you. Okay? Because Christianity went out all over the world. Right? And whether or not we agree with it, many of us don't. You can't negate the core principle teachings that could be advantageous to you. Okay? Remember, milk to the babes, meat to the grown. Right? Meet people on the level that they are and pull out the principles of these stories to help them elevate their consciousness. It's very, very simple. Transmute the way that you think. Watch your reality shift. Lastly, I have loss of assets. Okay. If you know my journey, I lost a lot when I had to separate. I had to leave my place. I lost my business. I lost my vehicle. I had to literally start all over from scratch. But the reason why you didn't see a devastated Sophie is because this is not the first time I had to do this. And so when these things happen, I always smile and look at it as a blessing, because each and every time I had to go through a loss, the gain was much greater. As a matter of fact, today, I'm getting ready to go pick up my car. You're going to see it. And the car that I'm getting ready to pick up, already paid for. No more car payments, which I had with the last one that was whooping my butt. It was like $363 or something like that. $323 a month. I'm getting ready to go and get a better vehicle, a nicer model, that's already paid for. All right? Do you see what I'm saying? And that's just the beginning. You lose things when you're being prepared to gain something better. All right? You lose things when they're no longer serving you or your purpose for the new journey. So now you have a choice. You can either hold on to what it is that you think is familiar and stay stagnant in that energy, or you go with the flow and reap more. Continue to sow and always reap. Change the way that you think first, and then the physical shift takes place. Okay? But it starts in the mind first. I don't care who's trying to fool who. You cannot function in a higher realm with a lower thinking mentality. You can't. You're going to be stuck. Now, you can convince people that you've made it, but if your actions are contradictory to that, you're only fooling yourself. To get to higher states of consciousness, you yourself must be at a higher state of consciousness. To get to a new reality, a new earth, and all of these things, you yourself must be new. You're not going to get to anything higher with the same mentality that you had when you were in a lower state of consciousness. And we went over these states of consciousness. You have to find where you are. All things work good for those who love God. It's a truth. Because we're co-creating. Right? We are residing in one another. Yeah. It's the energy, it's a currency. Mm-hmm. It's in the body, it's in the mind, it's in the soul. Right? So, be not bound to these worldly things. You'll get it again. Better and better and better and better. Okay? Better. So, I had a Chrysler 200. That I was paying insurance and car notes on, and I'm transferring over to an Infinity. Okay? Beautiful too. I can't wait. Because now I'm getting ready to do some real serious traveling. But this is what I wanted to share with you guys. Okay? The shift to the new earth starts here. The way you think. Now you're going to say, no, it starts here with love. I'm going to tell you something. How many of you were in love with the wrong things? Until you can grasp what love is and how it represents creation. movement, flow, life, if you still think that it's about an emotional appeal on how you feel about situations of people and places, you still missed it. Here, the way you think is the strongest way to show and prove love. Self-love, as well as love for others. So just saying it is not enough. You have to know it. You have to know who you are. You have to know who others are. You have to know what your mission is on this earth. And only you will know it. You can get there. Some of us know it. Okay. But not all the time are we allowed to tell you. All right. That's why they call it self-realization. Okay. Those of you who are identifying with Sophia Christ consciousness, Sophia had to self-realize in all 13 eons. Remember that. Okay. This is past lives. And not just physical, but the consciousness of that was governing those past lives or past eons or past dispensations of time. I'm trying to help you as much as I can because honestly, I'm not sure how this is going to work. I don't know if we'll be able to see each other again. You know what I mean? I don't know how this is all going to work. The visions that I get of the split of two actual worlds may not be literal. Or it could be. In either case, it is my hopes, my prayers that you join us. I am Sophie, and I love you all. Have a wonderful day.